Join me in welcoming to the stage Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Each other, and we're gonna take our country back. That's what we're here to do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Alexandria. Some of you may know me as AOC. And I am so happy to be back in Las Vegas. You know, my home is a ways from here. But in truth, the distance between us is a lot shorter than we think, or even that we're told, And I want to thank each and every one of you for making the effort to be here today. Thank you all so much. I know a lot of you have had to make lots of plans and carpool and figure out how you're going to get here, and it's not easy. Pardon? Louder, okay. Okay, thank you. People in the back, thank you for helping me. Is that good? All right, thank you. And I have to tell you, thank you, Nevada, because there's so many more people here than we even anticipated. We are at capacity today. And how many of you, how many of you here, is this your first political rally? Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you all so much for getting in the game. And I want to thank, who here is also getting in the game after not being as involved in politics, not knowing so much, who feel called and compelled? Thank you. Welcome. And I want to be the first to say, I don't care who you voted for in the past. You may have voted for Donald Trump in the past. You may have voted for Kamala Harris in the past. You may have not voted at all in the past, but I want you to know but you are here regardless of all of that. You are here today, and I want to thank you for that. In fact, we're all here together because we share in the frustration and the heartache that comes from watching those in power actively tear down or refuse to fight for everyday working Americans like us. And we are here together because an extreme concentration of power and corruption is taking over this country like never before. But we are also here today because we know that a better world is possible. But to get there, we need to be honest about where we are. Because we are witnessing an oligarchy in America. And that is when those with the most economic, political, and technological power destroy the public good to enrich themselves while millions of Americans pay the price. And we are at a point where the wealthiest people in the world, like Elon Musk, and all the Republicans enabling him, are turning to loot what is left of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security to bankroll even deeper tax cuts and sweetheart contracts for themselves, their fellow billionaires, and their corporations. And our political system right now is ill-prepared for this abuse of power. In fact, our political system enables it, starting with the role of money in politics. But I am here to remind you that we are not powerless in this moment. People are starting to put the pieces together. And ironically, the most divisive forces in our country are actually starting to bring more of us together. And that is important because the billionaire and the elite class derives their power from dividing working people apart along lines of left or right, race and gender, creed and culture. They will throw every label and judgment and cultural debate at us in the book to keep us distracted and from realizing that the only division that is truly hurting our country the most is the endless greed by those at the very, very top at the cost of everyone else. And that is why it has always been up to us, the working class of America. Our power comes from remaining focused, together, and building a movement where there is a place for everyone. For all the big talk that Republicans and the Trump administration like to flap about working people, if you actually listen carefully, every once in a while they let the mask slip about what they actually think about us. You know, just last week, President Trump's lawyer, her name is Alina Habba, she went on television, and when she actually had to be faced with explaining her job, and when she actually had to be faced with doing her job, this is what she had to say. Quote, what intellectual thought, when she was asked about me, quote, what intellectual thought? You were in a bar. You were in a bar, AOC, and not to have a drink, but to serve one. And I want you all to understand, I don't care what this woman says. But I want you to understand that she isn't just talking about me here. She's talking about you. She is talking about all of us. Because the entire job of the president's lawyer is to speak for him. Trump hired her to speak for him. So imagine what it means for our country that the president's own lawyer cannot even conceive of a working class person being intelligent simply because of the job that they have. This woman could not even recognize the American dream if it was fed to her on a silver spoon. But understand that this kind of disdain for working people by the most powerful people in this country doesn't just come from not being raised right. It's a shorthand for Elon Musk and Donald Trump's entire political agenda and a certain ugly kind of politics, lying to and screwing over working people so that they can steal from our health care and Social Security and veterans care to pay for tax cuts for the wealthiest and bailouts for their crypto billionaire friends. There's a word for this: corruption. And seeing all of this stack up, how overwhelming and brazen and selfish this all is, and the constant barrage of headlines and phone notifications pinging all day long, it's enough to make even the best of us give up. It's enough to make anyone want to give in to despair. And trust me, I get it. And that is by design. That is by design. Because when the system is stacked against you, it's hard to feel like anything you do matters. It's hard to feel like we matter in this democracy. And it is easier to give in to despair. And I can tell you, for a while there, when I was working as a waitress, years never being able to get ahead, I felt that way too. I tried to stop caring. I tried to just keep my head down and work my shifts and accept that this is just how things are. But that is no way to live. It's no way to live. And what I do know is that the working class does not have to live like this. In fact, we cannot live like this. And Donald Trump sees the immense pressure that working people are under. But his answer is to create an America where every man is for themselves. Now that he's in power, we can see it clear as day. He's handed the keys to Elon Musk and is selling this country for parts to the richest people on the planet for a kickback. And in exchange, they will bankroll his campaigns and those of his allies. They scratch his back, he scratches theirs, and the rest of us are left behind. And the clever thing is that the clever thing that these guys sell is making people like you and me think that we're just one step away from being in that club too. Grindset mindset, right? Except their spoils are not earned. They are not working for these billions. They are stealing these billions. Just look at what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing to our health care, our veterans benefits, and Social Security. In order to pay for even more tax cuts for billionaires, they are slashing the programs that we have spent a lifetime paying into. And mind you, even if you aren't on Medicaid or Medicare, it raises your private insurance costs too. So every single House Republican voted to cut Medicaid. And now they're all scared. They're saying, we didn't say that. We didn't do that. Also, let me tell you something. If I ask you, let me see. Do we have a kid around here? Okay, can I ask your son a question? Very simple question. What is 10 minus 4? I didn't say 6. I didn't say 6. That's what Republicans are doing with this budget. And what's your name? Bryce? Bryce's life depends on Medicaid. And all of us are here for Bryce, aren't we? That's what this is all about. That's what we're here for. We're here for Bryce. We're here for Bryce's mom. We're here for you. We're here for me. Because at some point, every one of us is going to need help. Every one of us. There's not some other people or every one of us. And that's what community is about. And in order to pay for even more of those tax cuts for billionaires, they're slashing programs like the Medicaid that Bryce relies on. And every single Republican voted for it. You see, these budgets aren't just fights about numbers. They are fights over our values that define us as a country. Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security were promises that we as a people have made to each other about what kind of country we are and who we are. It's not handed down from a politician or a billionaire. This is about the promises we make to each other. From neighbor to neighbor, from father to daughter, from friend to friend. You see, these budgets, again, they aren't fights about numbers. And these promises don't come from politicians. They come from us. And they are promises that we make to each other. So to me, the strength of our country is not just measured by the height of our best days. It's also about who's there for us on our worst day. And that is why I'm here with you today, Las Vegas. So let me share with you exactly what I mean. Because when they like to call us radical, and what they like to call me as radical, I believe is common sense. I believe that when a person gets sick, they shouldn't go bankrupt in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Common sense. I believe that a minimum wage should cover the minimum cost to live. Common sense. living wage is also a form of corporate welfare and looting. Because big companies like Walmart and Amazon often rely on the food stamp program and public coffers to cover the wages that they won't pay. I believe that homes are not slot machines for investors and Wall Street. To extort working families out of every last dollar that they have. A home is sacred. And when your landlord jacks up your rent by half overnight, or housing prices skyrocket because Wall Street treats our housing market like a casino, your government should fight for your ability to keep an affordable roof over your head. And finally, I believe our elected officials should take on abuses of corporate greed everywhere they find it. We must get big money out of politics and make clear that our country is not for sale. And that is why I don't and never will take money from lobbyists and corporations. You know, Fox News and the right wing will have you believe that these American values are something out of the Communist Manifesto. That we believe these things because we went to college and read them in a book somewhere. But let me tell you, Fox News, I don't believe these things. I don't believe in healthcare, labor, and human dignity because I'm a Marxist. I believe it because I was a waitress. Because I scrubbed toilets with my mom to go to school. Because I've worked double shifts to keep the lights on. And because on my worst day, I know what it feels like to feel left behind. And I know that we don't have to live like this anymore, Las Vegas. We deserve better than this, Las Vegas. And despite the chaos that surrounds us at the moment, I want you to know that we are closer to that world than we think. This isn't just about Republicans. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too. But what that means is that we, as a community, must choose and vote for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class. And Las Vegas, I want to tell you, I want to thank you for working hard to make that happen. You all have put in the work out here. Your Representative Steven Horsford is a culinary union member. You did that. You did that. And it shows, because last week, when other Democrats caved, your representatives, Steven Horsford and Senator Jackie Rosen, stood strong against the pressure in D.C. and voted against the Republican spending bill that cuts billions from programs for the working class and for our veterans exposed to burn pits. Representative Susie Lee and every Nevada House Democrat voted no too. So I want to thank you. Your state is pulling its weight out here. But we need more like them with the courage to brawl for the working class. So we must defend them, but we can't stop there. Thank you. I want you to look at every level of office around and support brawlers who fight, because those are the ones who can actually win against Republicans. Let's be real about that. And beyond elections, our task is also to build community. I'm talking about block associations, volunteer groups, causes around you. That is the connective tissue, because community is the most powerful building block we have to defeat authoritarianism and root out the corruption in the White House. So I'll end where I began. We might all come from different places, but we share a lot of the same experiences. So to all those who came here today unsure of whether or not this is where you belong, I want to say that you do. You do belong. No matter who you voted for, no matter if you know all the right words to say, no matter your race, religion, gender identity, or status, no matter even if you disagree with me on a bunch of things. But if you are willing to fight for someone you don't know, you are welcome here. If you are willing to fight for the working class, regardless of who they are, how they identify, or where they come from, you are welcome here. Here, everyone is valued. But I will say this. Those leaders on either side of the aisle who are willing to put their fellow Americans down so that they can get ahead or feel better about themselves, they may best find a home somewhere else. Because in this house, we stand together. Because here we know that together without exception is the only way that we can win. So no matter how you identify or what you believe, especially out here, if you're a trans kid or a family of a trans kid, an LGBT family, we can't throw you under the bus in order to win. In fact, we can't win without you. And I want you to know that the world needs you. And I hope you see this movement is not about partisan labels or purity tests. It's about class solidarity. The thousands of people who came out here today to stand here together and say our lives deserve dignity and our work deserves respect. No matter who we are or where we come from. And we are here to make a sacred promise to each other and to kids like Bryce. And that promise is to take care of each other on our worst days and to share in the successes of our best. And it's my honor today to introduce someone to you who spent his life trying to bring us together. Because together, we will win guaranteed health care for every American. Together, we will win living wages for all. We will win a better future and we will win a better world. And this person has given voice not only to our frustrations, but also to our vision and the promises, and speaks to the best America that we can be. And that man is Senator Bernie Sanders.